Mr. Trevor Blakeley, the Chief Executive of Royal Institution of Naval Architects. We are highly honored and privileged to have you today with us, and yesterday, of course, in the third edition of Maracad conference and exhibition. First of all, allow me to, on behalf of the Maracad committee and, of course, the board members, to thank you for your participation. And we received a high regards with the anticipation of your presentation. And I would like to ask you a couple of questions, if you don't mind. We'll start with the highlight of your presentation yesterday. That was about the role of a modern professional society in terms of innovation, people and engineers. Could you please elaborate a little bit more on that particular?
Yes, as I said in my presentation, the maritime industry is experiencing many challenges at the moment. And I think most people would agree that the key to responding to those challenges is innovation. And I hope most people would also agree that the key to innovation is people. My presentation was about engineers, who of course are key people in an industry that is technologically advanced. But what I was saying, I think, is applicable to the education and the professional development of all members of the maritime industry, whether as naval architects, as marine engineers, or as seamen. It is essential, it is important that the education, the professional development of all members of the maritime industry fits them for the needs of industry, both today and, more importantly, in the future.
Great. Well, that leads us to another question, which is linked to the same issue, which is the innovation. As you are aware, you have witnessed that this year we have launched the first of its kind Innovation and Maritime Creativity Award. And therefore we would like to see your views about this matter and how it's linked to exactly what you have mentioned in your presentation and you have speech earlier. Is that going to add value to the prospect of maritime industry in the international level as well as the GCC countries?
Yes, I think it will. I think the purpose of any award should be to both recognize achievement but also to encourage that achievement in others. And I think that also applies to innovation. Innovation can take place in many areas, either by an individual or by a company or indeed by an organization, all of whom can contribute either individually or collectively to that innovation. And I think by such awards we keep at the forefront of people's mind the need to continually innovate. This is an evolving industry that we're in, and it is constantly changing. And I think such awards remind people that there is a need to look to the future, to innovate. And therefore I look forward to hearing who is the first recipient of this award. And I would congratulate the UAE in taking the lead, I think, because I believe that the award will not necessarily go to an individual or a company in the UAE, but will go to someone who represents the international maritime industry. So whoever receives the award, I think it will be well deserved, and I will congratulate them.
Well, thank you very much for those thoughts and for the encouragement that we have received throughout the conference sessions. One last question, if you don't mind. We're talking about the organizations in general, associations that are linked with the maritime industry. And we have noticed and we have seen that this year has the high representatives or representation from different associations such as RINA and, of course, the International Maritime Organization, plus some other long list of participation. How do you find that this kind of participation from those big organizations and big names in the maritime industry will add value to such events and also to the organizations themselves?
Oh, I have no doubt at all that the attendance, the contribution of not just individual or small companies, but those major companies who, after all, will set the future of the maritime industry. I think such participation is absolutely essential to any successful conference, and I would congratulate the conference organizers of Maracad 2017 on attracting those major organizations. It is an international industry that we are part of. That industry is with small companies, large companies, national companies, international companies, all of whom have a key role to play in the future success of the maritime industry.
Well, Mr. Trevor Blakeley, Chief Executive of RENA, we thank you very much for this very high-profile participation from your side, represented by yourself, of course, and we would like to invite you again to see you next year and to support and take part of the Maracad 2018. And we would like also to, on the behalf of the committee, to thank you again for this high representation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. May I thank you also for, first of all, inviting me to come to Maracad 2017, and also for, I hope, the invitation to come to Maracad 2018. And finally, may I congratulate you and your organising committee on such a successful conference, which I'm sure will be repeated next year and the year after, and perhaps the year after that.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks. Thank you very much.
Thanks.